Here's Fort Myers right here. Port Charlotte just to the north of that. They'll be getting the brunt of that storm as well. Sarasota just to the north. South of Fort Myers, you have Bonita Springs, Marco Island, and also Naples is down to the south. And even though the eye is north of them, they're still getting all this rain and wind as it is moving inland. And this is going to continue moving through during the rest of the afternoon hour. So they're going to see still a while that they'll be dealing with these strong winds and that storm surge that's going to be moving through. Here again is another look at that. You can see these bands spiraling through parts of southwest Florida. Miami, a little bit of a break right now, but we do have some of the bands that are coming in. Then these bands up here on the east side of Florida is where we have some tornado warnings in effect. And we often can see with a tropical system coming in over land, these bands can develop some rotation there and cause tornadoes. And we've had numerous tornadoes, some of those last night, more throughout the day today, and we still have tornado warnings going on right now. So you can see the storm now. Here is the Georgia coast. We're seeing some of that rain beginning to approach Jacksonville. It's over Daytona Beach. That'll be moving in along the Georgia coast. But the center of this storm will also be moving up toward the north and east, moving back out over water, and then eventually making yet another landfall as a tropical storm on the Georgia coast. So here it is as a Category 4. Now I know Melissa has been telling you throughout the morning this excuse me, is a high-end Category 4 storm. If it only gained 2 more miles per hour, it would be classified as a Category 5. Right now winds 155 miles an hour, gusting to 190, moving north-northeast at 9 miles an hour. This is still going to cause what they classify as considerable and catastrophic damage there as the eye moves in. Now, as it continues moving up toward the north here, it loses its fuel, which is the warm water that feeds it and makes it be strong. And as it's over land, it's going to weaken, becoming a tropical storm. Then this is the part we have to watch here, north of Daytona Beach. It's going to move back out into the Atlantic, get some of that fuel again, hold together as a tropical storm, and then make another landfall here near the Georgia, South Carolina coast, really close to the Savannah area. We're thinking on Friday afternoon. They're going to be dealing with storm surge there as well. And then the remnant low continues moving up toward the north. So the good part of this is that we are going to be on the west side of the actual track. We're still going to have some impacts here in our area, but they're not going to be as strong here as they would be if we were on the right-hand side of the track. Let me show you the latest right now. I'm going to join Melissa Nord right now over at the matrix wall, and these are the models that we're watching. And you know, Melissa, of course, we're showing everybody the official track from the National Hurricane Center, and then the Hurricane Center gets their tracks looking at not only these two, the European and the American model, but all the models that we put together with our spaghetti plots. And often the track will follow what we're seeing on this modeling.
Right, and all of those spaghetti models that we look at, those are all just slight deviations of, well, what if this happened? What if this happened? And they run those models, and so they get the consensus, and they look normally pretty close to this when we're 48 hours out, but when we're a lot further out, as we saw earlier this week with this storm, these models may not agree very well.
And now they are in agreement as to where it is right now. What you look for is the center of the circles here. These are the isobars, or the lines of equal pressure. The green color shows the American model. The purple-pink color shows the European model. So both of these show the storm moving over the peninsula of Florida. And then we watch this really closely here, differing a little bit. But again, both of them show this moving back out over water. And as I said, that means it's going to pick up some of that fuel and could even strengthen a little bit again.
Hurricanes are like steam engines. They get their energy off the warm water. So once it moves back over the water, actually in the latest update from the Hurricane Center, they're saying, you know what, we had to put out this hurricane watch because it could even reach hurricane status again as it's making it to the Georgia, South Carolina border later.
And then we watch the remnants moving inland. And this is where the models differed a little bit early on than the Hurricane Center. The Hurricane Center was keeping this to the east of us, whereas the models were trying to keep it closer to us. Now we're feeling a lot more confident with the models now keeping the center well to the east of us. And with that, we're on the quieter side. I don't want to say we're not going to have any impacts. We will have some impacts here, but that's better than on the dirty side.
It's much better than being on the side where you can see the tornado threat.
Exactly right.
And the heaviest rain threat. But we're still going to see some rain. We're still going to see some wind action. So let's first dive into the Georgia coastline. I want to just update you on the watches and warnings we have in effect. The entire Georgia coast is in a tropical storm warning, but you see how it's outlined in pink? That's that hurricane watch they put out today, because they're saying, you know what, as it heads back out over the water, there's the potential it could regain some intensity. There's also storm surge warning, because we could see storm surge levels along the coast about 3 to 5 feet. So that's nowhere near as high as what they're seeing right now down in southwest Florida, but 3 to 5 feet. I mean, that's going into the first level of houses if you're on one of those barrier islands, maybe Tybee Island or out towards Jekyll Island. All right, forecast track. This is Friday afternoon, showing Ian making that next landfall near the Georgia-South Carolina border. Then as it moves inland, the heaviest rain threat and that threat of severe weather, that's mainly going to stay on the north and eastern side of the storm. So that's going to push up through the Carolinas into the mid-Atlantic. But meanwhile, we have this wraparound moisture, so we're still going to see some rain out of Ian. We're still going to see some gusty winds, and those will start arriving late Thursday or Friday morning. And those the rain chance will pick up late on Friday, stick with us throughout the day on Saturday, and then as we head into Saturday evening and overnight, that's when we'll start to see not just the rain coverage starting to taper off, but the rainfall rates as well will start to taper off. And then by later on Sunday morning, we should see the last of the showers clearing out of here. Now, that was the European model. What I'm going to show you now is one of our in-house higher resolution models, and this shows a much different scenario. Don't take this and run with it. Take it with a grain of salt, because this may be showing the center of Ian moving further east than is actually going to happen. But it shows the landfall really clearly today. Then once it moves back over the waters, it actually has that next landfall not right near the state line, but it has the next landfall up near Charleston and Myrtle Beach. So that's a big difference from what the American and the European models are showing. This is our in-house model, which doesn't pull that rain shield all the way into North Georgia. It keeps the rain east, which is different from what the bigger models are showing right now. So that's a different scenario. So it's still a possibility, because we're 48 hours from this next landfall. There could be some track changes, and we'll be fine-tuning our forecast for the end of the week and the weekend as we get all that new information in. As of right now, it looks like we could see in the metro area 1 to 2 inches of rain. Then you notice as you head into East Georgia, those rain totals will go up. That's because you're closer to the center of Ian, where we're going to see that heavier rainfall threat. Those rain totals in the eastern part of Georgia could be 2 to 4 inches. Now, as I mentioned, we're also going to have some gusty winds. These will not be tropical storm force winds for everybody. We'll have winds sustained about 10 to 20 miles per hour, but some gusts could be 20 to 30 miles per hour. That on top of heavy rain could mean, yes, with foliage still on the trees, there could be some isolated tree limbs coming down or some trees coming down, but we don't expect that threat to be widespread trees down or power outages. So again, that main storm threat is going to stay mainly in East Georgia and into South Carolina. Chris, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're all good. You've got everything covered very well. We're going to keep tracking this for you here, and you can see as we go through the next couple of days here, it is going to be really nice in our area. We'll just watch those winds that'll be kicking up here locally as we go through the next couple of days here, and then the rain, as Melissa said, late Friday into Saturday with those winds kicking up as well. We'll have more updates for you throughout the day. Team coverage at 5.